What's up, everybody? Today, me and Babe talked about switching streaming platforms, community, and a bunch of interesting things about streaming. You'll hear Bonsai Wine here and there, and if you hear our train of thought derail, it's because we cut out a bit of his obnoxious whining, but near the end, we just gave up. Welcome to the BxPerience. The one big thing in streaming news, somebody went to Mixer, then someone else went to Mixer, and then someone went to YouTube.
Who we thought was going to Mixer.
Yes.
That was tricky.
It was tricky. You know what it was? I think we were reading into it a little too much when he did the skits. So, if you didn't hear the news, Shroud came to Mixer, King Gathalion came to Mixer, and Optic Courage, aka Courage JD, aka Jack, moved to YouTube. But when he did those skits, he was mixing up the vials.
And everything was blue.
Yeah.
I feel like it was on purpose.
I think so. Oh, that was definitely on purpose. That was good. He got me good.
Yeah.
He got a lot of people good. The timing was impeccable too.
Do you think that there's going to be anyone else in the near future coming over to Mixer?
Mm-hmm.
How soon?
Okay, so I'm not knocking on King Gathalion because he's amazing. But you can, if you look at numbers, look at money, look at business. You had Ninja and Shroud, astronomical in the whole grand scheme of things. And then you would put Goth a little bit under there. But then you would put Jack somewhere in there. I feel like the range of quote unquote deals is expanding.
Yes.
And the more it happens, the more prolific it's going to be. And I think the best analogy that I heard about this is think about sports athletes. Think about trades, contract deals with teams. Even contractors, or even you could say directors or producers or filmmakers, or even music producers with record labels and studios, right? Big studios will pick up certain people for a deal, right? And now obviously I don't think anyone but them know the real numbers, right? Of people making up numbers like $100 million or $10 million over 2 years. Those are just projections and made up numbers, right? But I think it's going to become more commonplace.
I saw an interesting tweet today saying that pretty much everybody that's moved is under the same umbrella. I think they either work with the same company or...
I know what company that is. I think
I could find the tweet.
Is. It's he was at Guardian Con, and he handles streamers because I know Goth is under the same one as Darkness. It's that company. I can't remember what it's called. I feel like I wrote it down somewhere. Anyways,
Loaded.
I don't think that was the one.
Courage's agency Loaded negotiated the deal. The same agency who represents Ninja, Shroud, Tim the Tatman, Lyric, and Summit, among other clients.
Yeah, so that would be an equivalent to the one that Goth is working with. Because I remember looking at the roster, I was looking into it because he was at the at Guardian Con at Rare Drop.
Yes, this tweet says nearly all of Loaded's clients, and I mean this is just a tweet, guys. I don't know how factual this is, but it says nearly all of Loaded's clients are in current negotiations with other streamer platforms, most of them with Mixer, or have already signed deals to stay at Twitch, sources say. I don't know where those sources are. I don't even know. I don't know for sure, but it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just be interested to see who comes next, and if it is somebody in that group, it would be really neat to get Lyric.
Yeah.
Lyric would be huge.
It's interesting because one of the biggest points that I took away from someone discussing about this is how this is consistent income. This is if you know you're getting paid a certain amount for 3 years, 5 years, whatever it may be, you can depend on that income as long as you do your job. So it's it's maturing. Like the industry is maturing to a point where it's a little less about everyone being their own startup, because essentially that's what it is. That's what the quote unquote influencer brand is. Live streaming, YouTube content creating, like you run your own business, you are your own brand. But in doing so, the payment revenue that you're depending on is so fickle and flip-floppy and not secure at all. So
well, it's interesting as well when you're talking about like kind of payment structure and stuff, because I mean, we like half the time I don't even know what we're getting paid for.
yeah.
And I know that that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and I understand it's because like everybody's still learning.
Yeah.
You know, like everything is still developing.
Like that, we've had people come into stream, mostly younger people, who are like, how do you make money in stream? It's not a clear cut. There's no rule book for this. There's no guidebook. There's no course that you can take.
There's a guidebook. It's ninjas.
Yes. Well, when I say that there isn't any, there is, but it's not like you can take a course in a mainstream education. I just almost said education bureau, but that's totally wrong. But a source of education, a lot of it has been taught by peers, right? A lot of the resources you're going to find are from other streamers, or what's the other one? Full Sail is the one that comes to mind that's the closest to being like a mainstream school where you can go to a class. But
well, I mean, but Full Sail is a lot more than streaming.
Yes.
Full Sail is content creation,
exactly.
but it's also esports
Yes.
and those positions. And I mean, that's cool. That's the first of its kind that I've heard of.
The industry's so young that we're just now starting to see this growth of these more structured things in the industry, which is good overall because that means that it's healthy.
Well, it means that we can look forward to something in the future, right? It's not an industry that's going anywhere because people are investing in it to keep it going and keep it growing. And
yes. Well, I find this really interesting because this kind of leads us into something we'll get into later. Excuse me, but the medium is becoming way more popular, and yes, you're gonna see a little bit of the like meme side of things because it's the internet, but live streaming allows more long form conversation, which social media has gone away from, and I feel like society is pushing back the other way with podcasts like becoming on the rise. People are actually discussing about how messed up things are when you get little tidbits of information, things taken out of context, stuff from the news that are just little clips, and even like news outlets are capitalizing on the clickbaity titles, the clickbaity stories. They just draw you in just for that little morsel, where I feel like people are starting to at least get a little fed up with that and want to know the whole story. They hear something and they want, okay, why did that happen? What exactly happened around those circumstances? And on top of that, as a form of entertainment, it's a lot more engaging because you actually can relate to that person better when you're talking to them in real time. You can relate to them because you're spending a decent amount of time with them. And if there's a long form discussion that has to be had, you can have it. It's not a YouTube video that's 5 minutes or 10 minutes even, where it's very one way. Whereas live streaming is very special in the fact that it's a lot of two-way, multiple way conversations, because you also have a lot of people discussing across with each other in chat as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Taking a step back to people moving to Mixer, how do you think this has affected the platform?
I think it's overall good. I remember I was talking with Sharkon about this, and I was looking at the analytics of site traffic just in general. And when Ninja came, it did spike up, but then it did drastically drop off.
Yes.
However, that's one anomaly in something that is overall providing more growth to the platform, providing more, as we said before, like validity to the platform. Before, Mixer was kind of a joke, right? Like Twitch was so big, so astronomically bigger than Mixer and any other platform, whereas Mixer has now established itself as the main competitor to Twitch finally, whereas before it was almost in the same level as like DLive, Caffeine, all these other ones trying to compete in that space. The other thing that's interesting is that if you look at, I guess you could say, digital entertainment sectors, you have YouTube and live streaming things like Netflix. If you think of streaming things like music, you have Spotify. Music is a lot more diverse. There's a lot more different platforms. But what I'm trying to say is, in a space, the internet seems to gravitate towards one monopoly. There's one Google, there's one Amazon, there's one Facebook. But do you think streaming has space for two side-by-side competitors, or does one need to eat the other up?
Oh, I think it's the best when there's competition.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Twitch, right? Twitch was the only live streaming platform that had any sort of validity for a really long time. I mean, we streamed there. Yeah, we saw them make changes, but we saw a lot of things stay the same. And I would say that we've seen them make more changes in the last year and a half. Overall, just adding new things and trying to add things that Mixer doesn't have, or catch up to the things that Mixer does have. I mean, Twitch low latency wasn't a thing until Mixer had FTL and everybody knew about it. There's and I say low latency, it's not even the same. It's a few seconds, I think, on Twitch is the low latency. I think it's 5
Which
seconds.
is
much better than 15, 20 seconds, but I mean, Mixer is instant, right? So they're still not quite there. I don't know what the stability is like because some people have issues with FTL on Mixer, but that kind of stuff is being implemented 100% because there's competition. And Mixer has to pull up their socks and do things because they're the underdog, and Twitch is competition. So, I mean, I think that the competition overall is when we're going to really see platforms excel. Mm-hmm. And fight to make changes and fight to get viewers and get people that want to stream there and make it their home. Overall, I think it's all a very positive thing.
Well, going with that, like, I was just thinking now, because especially because it's so new, we kind of have to try to look at parallels as to what it's similar to. And I think it's more similar to music in the fact that, like, you have Spotify, you have iTunes. Yep. I would say those are the top two music apps, so to speak. But they are very different. Yeah. So they each have their pros and cons, and they kind of coexist in the same space while being competitors at the same time. Like Apple and Microsoft, I remember there actually used to be I'm pretty sure this was true. I remember hearing this when I was younger, though, that there was not allowed to be a monopoly in that space because they were both creating operating systems, literally the guts of consumer computers. And so they had to coexist. And I feel like I remember hearing when one was going down, the other one gave them some money, so they stayed afloat. And that being said, that's actually quite similar to what's going on, or at least what was going on before YouTube and Facebook got a little more validity, because they're stepping their game up. But there is only Apple and Microsoft. However, there's also Linux. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's another one that I'm Ubuntu, or is that Linux?
I think that's Linux.
Yeah, because Linux is actually used on the robots that I work with. When they boot up, it runs Linux because it's very.
It's simple, isn't it?
I feel like it's.
I've actually had a computer that had. I had a computer that had.
Your grandpa has a Linux computer, and I know there's a lot of people that like Linux, and I know it's also used in manufacturing. I feel like it's more stable.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. a little more bare bones, but a lot more stable.
So what else is new with Mixer? Mixer recently dropped open monetization.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a big topic because that was this past week. So open monetization allows everybody on the platform to essentially make money off of Embers currently, and it's linked in with the streamer progression.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to hit a certain milestone to unlock said things. I'm
not sure. I think some people
should fact check this, but
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of irrelevant to what we're doing because we're already partnered, so that's why we haven't really looked into it. But I think it's open to everybody to at least apply.
Yeah.
And I think most people get the base Embers, and then from there, I'm not sure. I don't think they haven't discussed much of anything else.
Even if we assume that everyone has the capability, with certain progression in mind, like, which is similar to even partners, like at a certain amount of subs, you get more emote slots.
More emotes, yeah.
I'm not even 100% sure what the emote. I literally haven't looked into this at all. I've just heard it mentioned. And I know a little bit about it. But that being said, I think it's good.
I think it's great.
I think it's a great addition. And I think it will drive home the point, and I think a lot of people need to understand this, that streaming is very much you get what you put in.
It is, but it isn't.
Yeah, but you still have to put in the work. Yes, there's opportunity, but you're not going to get subs and Embers allowed in your stream and all of a sudden start making money and go full time. Like, you're not going to just get money given to you without any work put in. And that's what I feel like people feel like it's undermining. Kind of like the affiliate program kind of undermined partners a bit, and a lot of people are upset about it. However, does it really matter if someone is an affiliate and has 2 subs? Does that impact you as a streamer? Not really.
Yeah.
Right?
I think where I was going to go is that it can go the other way where you stream, but you're not working on improving, and you're not looking at what you're doing wrong, and you're not looking at your content, and then like time doesn't equal money when it comes to streaming.
By work, I don't mean a proportional correlation. It is not proportional. It has to be smart work. And it's not that, I guess the better phrase would be effort does not give you money. Like, you can't just put effort in. You have to put smart effort. You have to put thought into it. You have to be willing to grow and learn and analyze yourself and think that you're never good enough.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's kind of where a lot of like mental health issues kind of comes in with streaming. There's definitely a link between that. And part of it is like you have to always be willing to improve and look at yourself and see where your weaknesses are and work on that and try to be better all the time. And numbers fluctuate so much. I mean, especially with gifted subs, you could have, however many subs one day and drop down 30 the next day because you had a big day of gifted subs, and everything just goes. And you have to be able to look at that and not let it affect your content in a negative way and get inside your head, which I know a lot of people struggle with.
It's kind of similar to the issue that people have with not thinking about context, because context is important in so many different ways. And even
social media makes that hard.
Yes. Even in this particular situation that we're discussing right now, if you just look at your numbers, if you just look at the money coming in, and you look at what you did, and you don't look at anything in between, you're not going to have the full picture, and you're going to get yourself into trouble. Because if you say, oh man, this month I made like $6,000, and like 3 people gifted you like 150 subs or something very crazy, and then they're gone, and the next month you make $150, but last month you're like, yo, I'm making it. Next month, like, I'm rolling, I spend all this money, you buy all this stuff, and all of a sudden you have nothing. Or maybe something crazy happens, and for whatever reason, you're not building your community, and your community just decides, oh, well, we're gone, and they just dip. You're left in the dirt with nothing. So
there's so much that's out of your control as a content creator as well. Things happening in people's lives.
Yeah.
You know, people could be regulars and one day just disappear, and it doesn't necessarily mean that your content is bad or you push them away. I mean, maybe they're dealing with something personal. Maybe they got really busy with work, or they had a kid, or all this stuff that you don't really know. And I mean, that can happen to lots of people at the same time. I think it was like a week or two ago, we hadn't seen a bunch of regulars, and they all showed back up, and they were like, yeah, like, work was just crazy, and like everybody just had like a really crazy week, and we didn't see a bunch of people, and then they all showed back up, and you just never know like what's going on. You never know if people are going to resub. You never know, you know, if people are going to spend embers, or if you're going to really have that that financial stability the next month.
And that's why, like, we say this all the time, but we literally would not be anywhere without you guys. Like, and it's not a one-way relationship at all, because we need to depend on you guys, but like, we're there for you guys, and you guys are there for us. Like, it's a team effort. And
I don't know if people really realize from the viewer side how much they do for content creators. I just want to talk about this really quick, because the reality is people showing up in stream and showing up, you know, whenever they can. Some people every day, every stream, just to say hi. Even if you stop in and say, hey, I'm really busy today, but I wanted to say hi, gotta go. You took those 5 minutes, opened up the stream, came in, said hi, maybe left a tab open. Like, that means a lot.
It means a lot.
That means a lot. The fact that you care enough to do that you want to show that support. And even just coming in and saying, hey, you know what, like, stream was really great today, or I like your shirt, or whatever it is, like, good play, nice snipe. You know, like, that all feeds the creator, the content creator, and helps them get in a better headspace. And most content creators like to give that feeling back to you. You know, like, I always hope that everybody's having a great day, and I'll always ask you how you are and how your week was and how work was. And I genuinely want to know, and I want to know that you're doing well. And if something bad is going on, I want it to get better. Why? Because I care about you, as in the capacity that I can. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a different relationship, and there are boundaries.
The main thing is that, like, we only have so much capacity for having relationships. Like, with Dunbar's number, which is one person is really only able to have relationships with 150 people at a time. Obviously, that's like it may fluctuate by, like, I don't know, plus 10, whatever. But that's what makes streaming so special, is that we can work on having as many of those as possible. And even for the ones that don't fall into that number, that we can't, but even though those numbers will shift, maybe you'll be here for like 2 months, and we'll have a great 2 months, and then I won't see you for another like year or two. So people will come and go. It's a normal thing. But if we can make your day brighter, if we can make you laugh, we can make you smile, we can listen to what's going on with you, we can, whatever we can do to give back to you, that's what we're here for. That's what we want. That's what we feed off of.
Yep.
Right? Like, I don't know, that's it's kind of that interesting thing. I remember mentioning this the other day, where helping people almost feels selfish because it feels so good to do it. And there's nothing more fulfilling than knowing that you made a difference in someone else's life.
Yep.
That you brought them up even one notch. It's amazing. And our puppy is being so whiny. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is that our community literally is a part of our identity. Like, you guys are a part of who we are. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as content creators, same thing as musicians, stand-up comedians, artists of any kind, you're going to hear bonsai a little bit. Sorry. We create our content the way we vibe with, and therefore the people who enjoy our content, we're going to vibe with you guys, if that makes sense. Like, the main thing we want is we want you guys to enjoy our content because we enjoy it as well, which kind of puts us on a similar level, if you know what I mean. Speaking about something that I mentioned earlier about how people will come and go and kind of float in between communities, because as much as you guys are us, we don't own you, right? Like, you can watch one person one day and decide next week that, oh, now you're mainly watching this person or that person. Like, there's a lot of content out there for everyone to enjoy. Speaking of that, how many people do you think from these moves to a different platform of their communities are going to stay there and actually propagate the platform?
It's hard to know how many of them are going to spend time in streams other than Shroud, Goth, Ninja, or anybody else that's moved over. I definitely know that there were a lot of people that came over to Mixer, made Mixer accounts for these people, and have been watching their streams. We've seen a few people come through our stream that have made the move or are checking out Mixer because these people came over here. Hey, it prompted them to make an account and try it out, and they're kind of floating through the directories a little bit. I don't know how many of... It's hard to say how many of them will stay.
There's definitely got to be a percentage, right? Because if you think that most people aren't necessarily going to watch a single streamer only for the entirety of their quote unquote stream watching career, that just sounded weird, so I put air quotes that you can't see around that. At the same time, like, it is interesting that innately these apps, these websites, these platforms make it so that you really want to just stay on one platform. Like, even as a viewer, like, I'm just gonna watch one thing, whether it's Twitch or Mixer, regardless of whatever.
I think something about that. So I see a lot of people and they're tweeting about, like, support the creator, don't support the platform. You know what? I agree 100%. I agree.
It's easier.
Support the creator. Doesn't matter where they are. If you like their content enough and you like what they're doing and you want to support them, download that app, make an account. It's really not that hard. However, I will also say that since we moved to Mixer, I watch Twitch like an eighth of the time, maybe, or less. I have to force myself to open up Twitch. I have to think about it. And I try to go at least every month and drop my Prime sub on somebody that we know, and spread it around and say hi. But it's not something that's part of my routine, because my routine is open up Mixer, go to my following, maybe stop in a few streams if I have some time, start up my own stream.
Well, that's a little different. That's different though. That's a different situation. You're talking as a streamer. That's totally different. What I'm thinking as a viewer. Like,
yeah, but
even,
I feel
even
like
myself, even myself, like, if I'm gonna watch streams and just watch them, usually I'm taking this as experience from my phone, right? Because it's not like I'm opening Mixer on the PC, whatever. That's obviously gonna be Mixer, but I'll watch Twitch every now and then. But if I decide, okay, I'm gonna throw on Twitch, and I open up Twitch and I'm like watching someone, I'm much more likely to swipe off of them and look at the rest of my following on the same app and scroll down and then switch to Mixer. Which sometimes I do, but to be honest, it's only really because we've watched more people on Mixer, because we stream on Mixer. That's why I open up Mixer. If that wasn't the case, I probably wouldn't.
I would also argue that at least 60%, if not more, of viewers are streamers themselves.
Yeah.
Currently. The way that things are now with the affiliate system, and even if they're just starting out, or they're just trying it out, or they're just doing it for fun, they don't stream on a schedule, whatever it is, I would say 60 to 70% would be my guess of viewers that are also streamers. So that's kind of why I was saying what I was saying, because wherever they stream is most likely where they're going to watch. Yeah. And they're going to network and, kind of try to be part of those communities.
And, well, to support your other point, which is support the creator, not the platform, 100%, like, if I enjoy someone's content, I don't care what, I forgot we could say fuck on here. I don't give a fuck what platform you're on. If I want to watch you, I'm going to go to your platform.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to happen in some capacity or another. I wish I had more time to chill in streams, because every time I do, I'm like, yeah, this is freaking cool. Why don't I do this more? And then like, oh, yeah, because so many other things going on. But no, yeah, 100%. And what I think is also very interesting about this quick little conversation we had about that is that nuance is so goddamn important, because we literally just supported every different argument with certain points of, it's not a definitive answer. It's every person is going to have their preference and their habits and the way they do things.
I think the biggest thing is habits, just trying to break that. Because I see myself do it all the time.
For sure.
Like our homepage is Mixer. I open up a Chrome tab. It goes to our page. How easy is it to go to following from there? Maybe I just need to add a second tab that's Twitch.
Yeah,
I like to even it out a little bit, because then it's there and I can just open it up. Like, it's just hard to break routine, especially when like the people that come through our stream are the names that are in my head.
Yes.
So then you open up your following, you're like, oh, hey, I wonder how this person is. They came through yesterday and we were chatting about this, and you click on it, right?
Yeah.
Just to see what's going on.
Yep. And 100%, like, part of that is conscious thinking, and another part is subconscious. Like, you recognize what you've seen a lot. That's just how that's going to go down. Or even if, like, people make impacts too. Right? Even if you don't see them a lot, but they make a certain impact of one way or another, hopefully positive, that name will be associated with something more, whatever, notable.
If you had any advice for people that were kind of on the fence about what platform they should be on, if they're just starting out, or if they're already kind of established on a platform, maybe like 15, 20 average viewers, and a bit of a community, what would you kind of tell them?
I would say, like, especially if you're in that position, you have the time. This is not a race. It's on your time. I would say stream a week on each platform you're thinking of. Just try it. See what the experience is. See how you feel. See what it's like. The thing, and but to be honest, I would make a list of things that you want to pay attention to. How easy is their UI to use? What kind of, like, demographic did you see come in? Did it fit with you? How easily were you discovered? Whatever else has importance for you. Yeah. Like, what's the performance like? And then after the however many weeks you take, make your decision then. I think that'd be the best informed decision that you could do, because at the end of the day, each platform is going to have its issues, and each platform is going to have its benefits, and whatever one lines up with what you're trying to do best is going to be the best option for you.
I think it's really important to like emphasize that like every platform is going to have its pros and its cons. Some of the pros are going to fit better with you than other people. Some platforms are going to feel like home, whereas others you're not going to feel. You're just not going to have that feeling. And I think that was kind of one of the things when we switched from Twitch to Mixer to try it out. Mixer just felt like home from the very first stream. Everything felt good. The community and the viewers and people coming through, everybody was very positive and nice, and we had great discoverability, and we were on the front page, and it was just all this stuff that never happened on Twitch.
The other streamers that we met.
I shouldn't say never happened on Twitch. We had awesome people that hung out with us on Twitch and came through. That was kind of...
But I just never mean, all that at the same time in a short period of time.
I mean, the fact that we came over, we hit their up and coming. We were on the front page. We had a hype zone. We had a couple hundred viewers at one point.
I assume is an anomaly. I feel like we literally just like stumbled on
like a crazy algorithm.
I swear we hit like a 10-leaf clover because I don't remember the order, and I wish I remembered the order, but I can see the main thing I'm wondering is up and come or hype zone. I'm not sure where that happened because I know we were on up and coming from the get-go, right? And I feel like hype zone brought in enough and enough stayed to put us near the top of up and coming, which helped a lot. We were already at the top near the top.
We were already at the top of up and coming because we had people come over from Twitch. We started stream with like 30 something and up and coming.
So you're at the top of up and coming, but then hype zone definitely helped us hit feature then, because I think that pushed us past the threshold, and that's when the feature carousel on Mixer was random, and it wasn't restricted to partners. So we got up on there, and then that just like blew the roof off of that. But even still, it was just like the attitudes of the people that came through impressed me.
Yes.
The like concentration of awesomeness was high.
I would say, coming from like a Mixer partner, I would say that one of my favorite things about being a Mixer partner is the fact that I feel as though my feedback and what I say about features and issues with the platform are taken seriously, and I feel like I have the opportunity to help shape what the platform becomes. And I can 100% say that Twitch is not that way. No. And I mean, there's way more Twitch partners, and I don't think it's really feasible for them to do it that way with their size. But it feels really good to feel like a partner. Mm-hmm. Like a partner with Mixer, not like we're just, an
employee.
Like it seems to be, it feels like a mutual relationship where there's some give and take.
Definitely. And for example, like as partners of Mixer, the reason why there's give and take is we're literally quote unquote their top creators that are the face of Mixer. That's especially apparent if you look at what they did with the partner spotlight.
Yep.
You open up the page and there's these faces, literally the faces of their partners on the front page. And I feel like this is something that a lot of people don't really recognize, is that the content creators on a platform are representatives of that platform. And regardless of whether you try to or not, you're going to associate those content creators with their platform. For example, when PewDiePie I think streams on DLive or something, but if I go to someone or someone goes to me and says PewDiePie, I'm thinking of YouTube immediately, yes. Right? And obviously before the move, if someone was to say Ninja, that obviously prompts Twitch.
As much as partners are the face of platforms really are the ones standing behind the partners and content creators and providing tools that allow them to do what they do.
Yep.
I think sometimes we take it for granted that they give us servers to stream on,
Yeah.
and a platform to, you know, voice your opinion and provide your content. They provide moderation tools, clips,
Yep.
so you can use on social media and in YouTube videos, and you know, even just providing staff that are there for tech support. If
Yep.
something goes wrong, you send an email. Mixer's very, very
That
quick
was
to get back.
That was one of our biggest things that we noted when we moved to Mixer. We had a problem with our stream. I'm pretty sure it was on the first day. And sent them an email through the support thing on Mixer, and we got an email back in like 5 minutes.
Yep. Very, very quick. They're very fast.
Yeah. Obviously, they've probably slowed down a little bit now, but they're still real quick. Like when we report someone for some like bad shit, their accounts are gone. Like gone quickly. So they're really good with that, and I hope that continues the more they scale up.
I do think that one thing that people kind of put on the platform as it being that, like, it being the platform's job to do, but I think it's really more on the creator, is discoverability. I think discoverability is something that people are always saying, like, it's too hard to get found. It's the, you know, if only people would see my content. And I mean, to some extent, it's true. However, in my opinion, I don't really think it's the platform's job to make, like, they can't make everybody discoverable.
No,
it doesn't make any
impossible.
sense.
It doesn't, like, logically it doesn't make sense. And I agree, it's not something they like under the onus to do, but it is something they do because it does help them out. It helps them out as well to have people come up and be discovered. An example that is kind of pertinent to this podcast is Joe Rogan's podcast. He has never advertised his podcast. It was just word of mouth recommendation, and it's literally the biggest podcast on the planet. Maybe not the planet, but, you know, at least in North America. But and that kind of ties into what I was saying earlier of interest. Like, we want to provide content that's enjoyable to people, and those people that enjoy it, that's who we want, and they'll stick around. That's why, like, we're not trying to force it down everyone's throats to come to our stream now. Come to our stream now. Like, just stay in here, just be here, just whatever. But to be fair, like, it is not a clear answer, or there's no clear method to being discovered. And that is the number one question we get asked by people starting their stream. How do I grow my stream? How do I get followers? How do I get viewers? How do I get bigger?
The reality is there's like 100 people in a directory with 0 or 1 viewer, and then maybe like 10 with 2.
Mm-hmm. And on, like, Twitch, maybe there's like 1,000.
Right? And then 10 with 3, and then 10 with 4. And I mean, most people aren't scrolling to the bottom of that.
No. And even if you do, how the hell do you choose?
How do you choose who you're going to click on?
Like, you just randomly pick. Well, that's just random, right? Like, you can't really depend on randomness. So it is like one of the leading answers that we'll give people is definitely true. It's like, tell your friends, you know, tell your family, ask them, hey, can you just, even if you open a tab, and don't even watch all the time if you don't want to, watch if you want to, but, like, help me out a little bit, as much as you can, and get that slight little boost, just a little bit.
Just a little bit,
just
because if you're sitting at like 5 viewers, you could
you're
be above 100 plus
section.
streams.
You're in a section, right? Like, you're not in the sea
of breadsticks.
Of breadsticks.
Sea of breadsticks.
She made a joke about breadsticks in Destiny somewhere. Oh, it was when I was sewing the couch, and I was out in the living room, and she was streaming, and she made a joke about that, and I died out there. She could hear me laughing from outside. Oh, it was funny. It was a good one. But yeah, like that's definitely the first thing you should try and do. The second is literally just be as visible as you possibly can on your social medias.
Social medias.
You know, like
when we've talked about discoverability, it's always, all right, first step, how do you get them to click on your stream?
Yeah.
Second step, how do you get them to stay?
Yeah.
Third step, how do you get them to come back?
Mm-hmm.
Those really are like the 3 steps. Like, get them to click on it, get them to stay, and then get them to come back.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work for, everybody's not going to like your content. That's just the reality. We keep going back to this. We want people to hang out that enjoy it. I don't want people to hang out that don't like our content.
Exactly.
I want our community to be filled with people that, vibe with our jokes and like what's going on in stream, and they like us for who we are. And yeah, I keep losing my train of thought when Bonsai whines.
Bonsai is interrupting the podcast over and over and over again for no reason. By the way, guys, it's not like he needs anything. I took him out before this, and he had a treat, and he's literally just walking around whining every 15 seconds, right? Speaking of that, 2 of those 3 things you have a large amount of control over.
Yes.
Making people stay and making people come back. The one that people really struggle with, because those you can understand what it is, right? You can understand that when you're interacting with them, there are things you can do. Yep. And however way you want to do it, that's up to you. The first thing to get people to click on your stream, that definitely is the cloudiest and the hardest to figure out.
Well, I mean, what do you do? Do you try to make a clickbaity, catchy title or something that people might be like,
Kind of, yeah.
Or do you... I mean, but honestly, Pete, most of our titles lately have just been what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've been going for, is just kind of what we're doing. So that... And I don't know whether that's better than, trying to come up with quirky titles, but honestly, I can't think of any. It's easier just to be Iron Banner with viewers than to be
the only time
I don't know.
I like doing a clickbaity title is when I have a funny idea.
Yeah.
When I know it will probably make someone laugh at my title, then that I think of, then yeah, let's do something silly. But
I mean, people see your thumbnail.
Yes.
So I think there's something to be said about that. You want your stream to be something that stands out amongst a lot of other thumbnails.
Which a lot of them are, especially because they're gameplay of a game, right? They're all going to be the similar game, and you can't 100% control what the thumbnail is because it's going to be part way in your stream. And it's usually going to be bright. Almost everyone's going to be bright. They're usually going to have colors that pop, with overlays and stuff. At the same time, you don't want it to be, unless it's your brand, at least for us, we don't want it to be gaudy. We don't want it to be over the top. You want it to be nice and clean, because when you are watching, we want it to be about our content, not all this stuff on the screen. But that definitely helps to have something that stands out. I
mean, for us, one of the things that stands out right away is that there's 2 people instead of 1. So
that's kind of an easy.
It's kind of an easy standout. But I mean, we also stream solos sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really I mean, I've thought about that. I've thought about how do you make somebody click on your stream, and that is probably the hardest thing, because you have literally no control over it. If somebody comes in, and they chat with you, and you chat with them, and you have a good conversation, and they follow, you have, like Pete was saying, you have control over that.
Yeah.
You can kind of direct those conversations. And that's something, too, that I think a lot of people don't, might not, think about when they're streaming. You can direct conversations in whatever direction you want.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can do that without people really being like, whoa, they just changed the subject. If you are liking the direction something's heading, somewhere, it's where it's heading, or you have something you want to talk about, it's very easy. You have control over everything. You have control over who says what in chat. If somebody's out of line, you know, like you get your moderators to deal with it, or you explain to them what's going on. You ban people that you don't think fit or are rude, whatever the case is. You know, like you have control over everything in your stream except the people that choose to stay or not.
Yep. What I did also want to mention on that note of what the words that come out of your mouth, what you're doing on screen, it has so much precedence over what's in chat. So I would say don't worry too much about, like, if someone's, like, for example, if someone says something that's, maybe you don't want to touch that, but you also don't want to delete it, and you don't want to ban them or anything, you can just leave it, skate over it, or, like, redirect, and what's going to be more apparent than that little comment in the chat box is what you're doing. Yes. That's the most engaging thing you have, is how you act, and even how you react to things. It's like, streaming definitely teaches you a lot of self-control. It teaches you, like, what you were talking about of directing conversation. That's just straight communication skills. That's one-on-one. Like, in real life too, we've gained that from streaming. I know, like, especially me personally, now when I talk to people, I feel like I'm a lot more adept at keeping that conversation on the track, so to speak. And if they throw something on the track, I can deal with that a lot quicker, a lot smoother, without being abrasive, without turning them off of whatever I'm saying. Like, it definitely teaches you a lot.
Yep.
There's a lot of facets to streaming. A lot more than people realize.
There's a lot. I was talking about this the other day with you. I mentioned there's a lot of skills and life skills and just good things that I've learned through streaming that I might have learned eventually from doing something else, but you know, like communication skills just in general, like you were just talking about, you know, being able to kind of brush off what people are saying, being able to deal with negativity, and pretty much, right? And being able to deal with negativity and not really take anything like that to heart, especially when it's coming from usernames. Yeah. You know, well, like
sorry to jump on that one, but that's actually a very, like, tricky topic, is when someone says something in chat. You have to be personable. You have to engage with them, but you also have to remember they're on the other side of a screen. They could be lying. They could be, like, manipulating. They could be just bad people. You don't know. Or they could be amazing. They could be honest. They may just need a pick-me-up. There's so many things that you don't know, and you can't really assume.
Yes.
You can't just label somebody right off the bat, but you can take their actions, like, make them responsible for their actions, and that's something that I've always kind of tried to hold, is I'm going to treat you the same in the beginning no matter what, until you do something, like, against me, you know? Like, if you do something to hurt me or the people that I care about, then there's a problem. And that goes in real life as well. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to assume that there are reasons, because that's the same thing for everyone. Everyone has a story. Everyone started somewhere. Everyone was a baby at some point, and they had parents, or maybe they lost their parents, or maybe they went to a good school or a bad school, or maybe they didn't go to school. Everyone has a background and a story and reasons for why they're the person they are. And I guess the one thing to remember that leads into all the nuances behind it is that these are people, but they are also people on the internet.
Yes.
And that comes with its whole array of baggage and things to worry about. For example, if someone is telling you, like, the sob story of something definitely act as if it's true, but if they start to be, you know, maybe leeching money off you for it or something like that, and it starts to affect you in a way that's quite negative, you got to keep your distance as well as be willing to close the distance. It's such a complex case by case thing. Like,
I would say that we've been very lucky in that, you know, like pretty much everybody that is a core part of our community is absolutely amazing. I would say everybody that is a core part is absolutely amazing.
mm-hmm.
I don't know whether we just tend to gravitate awesome people towards us or we just got really lucky. I don't know, guys, but you're all awesome.
Well, I think that's kind of like what I was saying before, is we draw people that enjoy the content we create, and the content we create is so personal.
Yes.
It's so much of us because it's literally us that it tends to gather like-minded individuals, and that's the beauty of it.
What I was going to say is we have had a few cases of people we thought we knew who were deceiving us. However, until you give me a reason to feel that way about you, I treat you as if everything you're saying is honest.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I treat you guys in stream is it's genuine. The only time where I start to think twice about things is when you give me a reason to. And there were a few people that we have had to deal with in the past about things like that.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
I think it just comes with the territory. I mean, I would consider ourselves lucky. There's so many unfortunate things that have happened of that nature that I'm glad haven't happened to us.
Well, I think it also really opened my eyes because the first case, and I would say like the most serious case, was somebody who had been telling us they were very sick and, you know, they were in the hospital and all of this stuff, and it kind of came to light that it wasn't necessarily really happening, and I had been crying. Like, I was upset that this person that had been hanging out in our stream and we had a real connection with and all of this was really sick, and it wasn't true. And I found it wasn't true, and it kind of really opened my eyes because
they were gonna come meet up with us.
They were gonna come to Toronto. Yeah, they were gonna come meet up with us. They didn't show up. There was a lot of red flags, and being the type of people that we are, and at the time we hadn't been streaming for very long, and we just kind of, I guess, fell for it, and it opened my eyes a lot, and it kind of made me realize, like, it's kind of what we were talking about earlier, where there is this boundary.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel for you guys, I really do, and you know, the people that come in and hang out in the stream on a regular basis, I consider you friends to the capacity that I can. Yeah. And you know what? Because I hang out with you every day.
You know what? I would almost say that it's actually closer to family than to friends, because with family you have that overlaying bond, right? And that's kind of like stream. Like, you can go away for a year, you know, and then you come back, you still hold the same place.
Yeah.
In our heart, you know, like nothing's changed. I may forget who you are. I may forget your name, but you're still a part of the community, you know? And families like that, like my extended family, I don't know all their names. What do you mean? Like, I would go to a reunion and they'd be like, yeah, this is so-and-so, your cousin. Well, I don't remember them from when I was like 4, but they're still family, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we still have that over everything else. But it's definitely a tricky balance, because as much as I like have my guard up, because who knows what's gonna happen, I still open myself up, you know. And you guys still mean like so much to us.
Well, I think it's okay to open yourself up as long as you're smart about it, and I think that's kind of where we're at now. We open ourselves up as long as what we're opening up about isn't something that people can use to
Against
target us
Yeah.
in whatever way. I mean, you know, like we don't talk about where we like our address or anything that could be used personally, which is obviously a smart choice. I have no problem opening up to you guys about things and taking, you know, being there for you if you have something going on with your family, whatever. Like, I'll listen, I'll chat with you. I have no problem holding that, because I have gotten to a point where I don't let it affect how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I guess before I used to be upset that other people were upset.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to the point where I'm able to separate that. I can still be there for you and so be a support network for those things, but it doesn't affect me in the negative way it used to.
And honestly, that's something that it translates really well to real life, actually, because that's how I like hold myself with relationships with people, is that the main concern, this is the way I like to look at it. I like to look at it as myself being a tree, wherein for me to help people, I can be solid, I can be strong, and I can have shade, I can provide cover, but they're not going to be able to pull me over. Like, the stronger a tree I am, the more I can help people, because the weight of their problems won't blow me over.
Yep.
Right? And that's not to say that I care less. That's not how it works. But it's more like making sure that I'm good so that I can help people.
Yes.
Because I've seen firsthand and been a part of it where if I'm like real low and someone else is real low, you can't both drag each other out of the pit, you know? Bonsai, be quiet.
Bonsai is always really upset, apparently.
Apparently. He's just beside himself with his ball on the bed. Laying down comfortably.
So terrible. What a terrible life. Right? Oh my goodness. Can you not squeak the ball? Is that the problem? Bite harder, it'll squeak. This dog.
This dog he'll have a toy on the couch, chewing on it or whatever, and then he accidentally drops it on the floor and then whines about it. And he literally has his ball in his mouth right now, whining, laying down on his bed.
Such a baby.
It's quite humorous. By the way, he is getting better, guys. I took him out for a run today, in the dark. Actually, he had his little like light on. He had a hell of a lot of energy. Apparently, he still has more, because maybe he's just whining because he wants to run.
I'm gonna take him out tomorrow to run around. Did
when
you have him on the leash?
No.
No? Okay.
I just let him go.
Then I'll just let him go.
Yeah,
if you just let him go today, I'll just let him go.
Yeah, he needs it. It's like dark when I get home now.
I hate this time of year. This is totally transitioning to a different conversation, but I struggle with winter.
Yeah.
Emotionally and physically, like, it's a real thing, and I know it's a real thing. Like, I mean, it's been scientifically proven, but the dark. You wake up, it's dark. You go to bed, it's dark. Or you get home from work, it's dark. It's gray. It's. And it actually affects my mood. I was actually thinking about getting one of those lamps, but I don't know if they actually work.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
They do. Yeah. That'd probably be a real good addition, and you could probably turn one of those lights off and use one of the lamps on the corner there. That's definitely a good thing to do, because like, I get to drive around, and I'm kind of outside. Like, I'm in a barn for most of the time, but I'm driving there. So during the day, I kind of get to see some sun if there is some. But otherwise, if that wasn't the case, like, if I was working in a factory or something, which I've done, literally go to work and it's pitch black.
Yeah, and when you
stay
leave,
inside, and then you leave and it's pitch black. So
it's terrible. I could go into a whole conversation about full-time inside office work, but we'll stay away from that. So to recap, Mixer made some big moves. I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of Mixer and the direction that they're headed. I'm happy to be a Mixer partner and represent the platform and be able to kind of help shape the way it goes. You should support creators regardless of platform, and any platform that you choose that feels right for you is where you should stream and hang out and stuff. And
support the content creators you enjoy watching. Bottom line. Yeah. Regardless of
the platform war is silly, guys. The more competition that there is, the better all the platforms are gonna fight to be.
Oh, but there's gotta be a winner, babe. There's always a winner. That's what people want to hear.
No, not in this day and age. Everybody gets participation medals. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, if we weren't short on time, we'd be going into another long topic, which we'll get into in depth, probably next podcast. But yeah, everyone gets a participation trophy. Everyone wins. No winners. But no, seriously though, everyone wants that to be the case. They're just like, they want to have someone on the top. They want to know who's got the best stream, who has the most viewers, who makes the most money, you know. But at the end of the day, do what's right for you and what feels good, and hopefully we just see these platforms all grow together, because like you said, they all have their pros and cons, and I feel like the more I think about the different platforms, and let's just say 4, YouTube, Facebook, Mixer, and Twitch, they're kind of starting to settle. They're all kind of starting to settle into their own groove, you know. They're just starting to find their own niche, make the live streaming brand a little different between brands, if that makes sense. So I'm excited. It'll be good.
Big moves.
I don't need to dance. I make money moves.
Oh, Cardi B's gonna come after you for copyright.
Copyright infringement.
All right, guys. I hope that everybody has enjoyed the podcast. We will see you guys in 2 weeks to talk about the rest of the stuff that we were going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm. Apologize for the lateness on this one, but you know, we'll try to get these.
We're trying to get them out on Sundays, guys.
More often.
We're trying to get them out on Sundays, but sometimes it's just hard.
You know, like the main thing that set us back these past 2 weeks is just Bonsai getting fixed.
Yeah,
it's kind of set a lot of things back, just because it's been he's been a
whiny boy.
Yeah, he's been a needy little dog, and now we're getting to the point where he's healed up. I'm not so worried about him like ripping his stitches open, because he probably would have done that. Even when he was younger, he had a thing where he'd lick a little too much in one spot. Like, get a little obsessive about it. So
he handled everything pretty well. Yeah. I'm feeling good about stuff overall, guys. I just want to let you guys know that we're super, super thankful for everything that you do. Thank you for listening to the podcast. You know, thanks for telling your friends about the stream and opening a tab and coming to hang out with us and make jokes and poke fun at things we do, and you know, be involved in Discord. That LFG channel in Discord is booming. You guys have been doing raids, like, it's awesome. I'm so happy to see that.
Stoked. And that's something we've been saying about that for almost ever since we made it. It was like, use it. It's been like a year. Does it work? And you know, the more people that use it, the better it will be. So it's starting to take off now.
I do want to
Happy
mention that we are doing the Bungie Games to Give charity stream this week, or charity event this week. I believe it runs until Sunday or on Monday. We'll be collecting donations for the Children's Miracle Network all week. Everything goes directly to them. If you guys are interested in that, you can check out Games to Give. I'm sure that you can donate somewhere through there, or you can come through the stream and donate through our link. We have incentives. Bungie has incentives. You can get really cool stuff like in-game emblems, exotic ghosts, entered into a contest for a bunch of Bungie stuff, Destiny stuff, as well as we have some of our own incentives and milestones too. So it's all for a good cause. Help the kids. Yeah. You got anything else you want to add?
A little tidbit, we may or may not be playing in a Destiny tournament. More details on that.
Oh, yeah.
Coming. I need to, like, hash through some details and whatnot, but the 22nd of November. So be sure to check that out. It's going to be a blast. I'm super excited. I'm like anxious. I don't want to push them too hard, but I want the sign up link. I want to be like in there. Like I want to practice and like.
I actually chatted today about tournament stuff. Because when we spoke probably a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
On the way home, we were talking kind of about the direction of content and where we want to go, and tournaments and showcasting practice and kind of esports stuff was something that we talked about. It's hard to fit everything you want to do in, because I mean, like, I love playing like the Switch stuff and doing like Luigi's Mansion and you know, I'm excited for Pokemon. There's all these games coming out, and then obviously we're doing Comp Help a few times a week, but then on top of Comp Help, we've got other stuff that's going on that we want to do in Destiny, and titles we're grinding for and things. And then I also want to like run tournaments and kind of showcase some of that. And I mean, I also want to be creating YouTube. We haven't even been doing any of that.
Right. And like one of the ideas I've had, I don't know if I mentioned it to you yet, of like you guys sending us gameplay like clips or whatever.
That was my idea.
That was Babe's idea.
It was my idea. I
Okay.
told you.
I remember us talking
that's
about
such a good
it,
idea.
I remember talking about it or thinking about it. I couldn't remember. One or the other.
Pete trying to take my credit.
But yeah, if you guys like send us a gameplay, even like I guess it'd be full games, we'd cut it down probably to
or like 5-minute clips,
like half games, or even like minute-long clips or whatever, and then we can like showcast over them. I think.
Yeah, just and cool. Then like we can put that stuff up on YouTube.
Don't like just start doing that yet. Save your stuff, and we'll announce when we're actually ready to do it. Because like Babe just said, we got a lot of stuff going on.
There's just so much stuff going on. We have so many ideas of things we want to do, and we're slowly starting to kind of implement them. But we have to make sure that if we take on new projects and new things, that we have time to fit it into what we're already doing without burning ourselves out. Balance is very important, and we were going to discuss balance, I think, probably on our next podcast, and how important it is. And I know that in streaming especially, you know, people kind of have this mindset where you just need to stream all the time, and a lot of the times quality is much more important than quantity. But it's definitely a balance as well, because you could have one stream a week, or you stream one stream a week and it is literally the best stream on Mixer, but if you're only streaming one time a week, people probably aren't finding you. So there's a balance to everything. We just need to make sure before we implement some of the stuff that we have ideas for, that it fits in with what we're currently doing. Yep.
And consistency is also a big facet of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. We could probably continue talking, because if we got into other topics, it would segue real quick into other stuff. So
we're gonna go set up this new audio thing. We bought some new cables. I'm hoping it's gonna take about 50 different wires away from our setup, and we're only gonna have to use one wire instead, which will be hella nice. So we're gonna go test that out. I just created a new both views scene as well.
Yeah, it's on Discord. It's on Discord if you guys want to vote for it. By the time you hear this, you may have already seen it and voted on it.
So we're always working behind the scenes, guys. Sometimes we just take a lazy day, but for the most part, we're always here trying to see what we can do to create the best content for you, because we appreciate y'all.
I would say lately we've been taking maybe
one day a week.
Maybe two, but that counts an evening, like one evening and like
Sunday,
maybe a weekend day. But that weekend day is not even intentional. We usually intend to stream, but just can't do it. All
right, y'all. Peace out. Y'all know where to find us?
Mixer.com/BABEXPETE.
BxPete. You can find all our content at BxPete.com.
That's
our
BABEXPETE.com.
What are you, an infomercial? We've got our YouTube is BabexPete. You can find us on Twitter at Babetron_ and Petron_. Our Instagram is BabexPete. If you haven't noticed, we're BabexPete, and this is the BxPerience. Do you get it?
Do you get it? Get it? And if you don't want to call Babe, you can call her Jess.
Yep.
You're allowed.
Yep.
Or Bab.
Or B.
Or Babatron.
Or you can call us BxP. Hey, what's up, BxP? We'll answer.
Yeah. All right. Till next time, guys.
All right, guys. We will see you next time. Thank you for listening.
Peace.